what steps can I take to improve my public speaking skills? All right, yeah. Already everyone knows that public speaking skills, why it is really important. It is important, yeah. Like basically at somewhere in your life, if you want to become a kind of like a some certain big person, you really require that particular skill, a public speaking skills. Okay, not only required for your career, but as also your your personality. Okay, and as also is that ki how do you show yourself in front of all those people. Okay, yeah, because there is a different. Okay, yeah, because of that ki when you interact with your people, okay, your friend, family, whatever it is, okay, you are interacting with kind of like a something really very like 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 own space. What do you mean by that? Okay, yeah. It's a kind of like something very difficult, but let me example to you. Okay, so there is a guy who is kind of like a something really public speaker. Okay, yeah, he was kind of like a somebody telling this, telling that. Okay, just an example is that Sandeep Maheshwari. Do you know Sandeep Maheshwari? Sandeep Maheshwari is a motivational speaker. Okay, and he motivate a lot and really good motivational speaker. All right, yeah. His the way that he explains stuff was really incredible, really good. Okay, yeah. Does he really talk like this with his wife or with his friend? No, definitely not. Okay, yeah. Like basically, when he was interacting with his wife, he was not kind of like a something evaluating this and that and that. He was kind of like a something being really normal. Okay, yeah. When kind of like a something when he was with his friend, probably his kind of like a something behavior is something very different. Yeah, because of that our behavior is kind of like a change according to the person in front of us. Okay, yeah. That's why when we are with your friend, we are kind of like a something enjoy so much that we don't really know what kind of like a something right or wrong. We just do to makes it fun, and that's it. Okay, yeah. At that time, we are not Sandeep Maheshwari. We are, at that time we are not any motivational speaker. We are just kind of like a something person who hang out with a friend and just enjoying the stuff. All right, yeah. So do you understand? Na? Every person has his different slate. Okay, how do I act in front of my parents? How do I act in front of my wife? How do I act in front of my kids? How do I act in front of my co-worker and stuff like that? How do I act in front of my friend? Okay, yeah. These are kind of like a something faces that we have, and we are kind of like a something showing separate way. Why we do that? It's really essential. Okay, yeah. We don't want to mix them everything. Example is that key, like like I don't know, I'm gonna tell you is this thing. When I'm with my friend, I was kind of like something so blunt. I don't know what I'm trying to talk. Like basically is this thing, गाली देते बहन चोद mother चोद this and that. These are kind of like something very common words. Do you have that kind of like something courage that you could say this thing in front of your parents or in front of your wife? Do you could say that? No, definitely not. Okay, basically this thing, when we are interacting with our friend, our kind of like a something, the person is different. When we interacting with your wife or parents, our face is kind of like something very different. This is kind of like a stuff and stuff. Okay, yeah. So that's why we are kind of like a something talk sex talk with your significant other or your wife. We didn't really talk about this thing with your parents. It's a bit really awkward. No. Okay, we don't really discuss that. Okay, as also the financial advice, we actually talk to your five. It's a lot of things. Do you get it my point now? Okay, yeah. So these are kind of like something multiple faces of the people. But when you kind of like a something addressing some sort of concept or some sort of like a thing with hundreds of people, it's called public speaking. Like you are actually speaking in front of public, and those publics are more than 25 or more than 50%, 50 people, yeah, whatever it is. Okay, more than 25, I would say that. If you say more than 25 people, then I would say it's a public. All right, yeah. So if you kind of like a talking more than 25 people, that is called public. Okay, so you need to be kind of like a something have particular knowledge about concept, not only as a concept but as also is a thing that you have to know what to talk. Okay, what do you mean by what to talk? Example is that when you are with your friend, you are blunt. Okay, blunt means you could say anything what you want. When you are with your wife, you are kind of like a something little bit of control way to talk, that how do you supposed to talk. With your parents even more. But when you are kind of like a public speaking, you have to make sure that the things that you talk is really exactly precise, right and correct. Okay, and as also your tone is not meant to be kind of like a something just blunt. No, you have to be like you have to showcase your personality, and that personality represent you. So in that case you don't really showcase a blunt personality. That means people could imagine that ki ha ye to aisa hi hai. Okay, no, you have to showcase that ki you are kind of like a something very different person. You are kind of like a something that ki higher than that. Okay, so this is kind of like a something like that ki you have to showcase your personality as good as possible as you can. That is called public speaking. Okay, so that's why you could kind of like a something kind of like the way that he talk in the stage and way that he talk in real life is completely different. And that is kind of like a something true. Okay, if you don't really knew it. So yeah, like Sandeep Maheshwari talk in a episode is a kind of like a something as a motivational way, but in reality he was like a, yeah, being cool, something like that. Like that. Okay, yeah. So like my son, I'm not kind of like simply pointing out that Sandeep Maheshwari. No, I'm just pointing out that what is exactly my concept. All right, yeah. Now you understand what is actually public speaking. Okay, yeah. So is this thing, how do you improve that? Okay, how do you improve that? So you already understand the concept of public speaking. Okay, so if you wanted to improve this thing, you have to study. Okay, yeah. Example is that key, let's just say there are almost like 30 40 60 people. Okay, yeah, I'm in the classroom, and basically this thing I have to kind of like a simply telling them, or kind of like a telling them about the IC engine, how it works. Okay, yeah. So four stroke IC engine cycle, so I have to study about that. I have to know about that particular concept. I have to know about every strokes, like a suction, exhaust, suction, compression, power and exhaust. Okay, yeah, I have to understand this thing, imagine this thing, kind of like a something, try to figure it out that how do I supposed to execute that particular information. Because information that you have and information that you execute is a kind of like a two different thing. Example is that key, in your imagination you could speak English so well, but when you try to speak English you can't speak that well. That is kind of like a something lack of practice. Okay, you have to practice that thing. Okay, yeah, because in your imagination there is no resistance, you could think it done. But when you try to implement this thing in real life, okay, or you could try to talk, then it kind of like a something a bit hassle. And this is a kind of like a something work on yourself, that you have to practice. Okay, understand the concept, understand things that you know, understand the things about that you what you want to say. Now how to say that thing, how to execute that thing, how to execute to the people. Okay, because of that he, like there is a kind of like a something very different thing. Okay, concept that you know, imagination that you have regarding about the concept, everything. Okay, yeah, execution is a kind of like a something to determine that ki how well is your good speaking skill, how well is kind of like a something you tell. Okay, yeah, the particular concept, and not only tell them, you they have to understand that concept too. Okay, yeah, you or else like this kind of like a something just rattu popat. No, you don't want to be rattu popat. Rattu popat means like that ki just like rat liya or bak diya. Okay, no, you have to kind of like explain, not only explain, but you have to understand that how do you supposed to execute, or how do you supposed to execute that particular concept in a such a way that it became a little bit of entertaining, interesting, engaging, and then curiosity that they wants to know. Okay, make it fun, make it kind of like a something light. Okay, yeah, because I seen there is a kind of like a public speaking people who just talk. Okay, just talk, just just talk. What do you mean by that? Like, because basically public speaking means talk. No, not at all. Like basically if I wanted to say I wanted to improve my public speaking, instead of my mouth, I wanted to use my entire body. Like basically I'm walking, using my hand, doing this. I wanted to interact with the people too. Okay, yeah. And then I wanted to execute that particular concept. I my kind of like a something like execution style is not for kind of like a talk. I wanted to include a various way to explain this thing. Okay, yeah. And that makes it kind of like a something more fun, entertaining and engaging. Okay, and this is kind of like a something really that, like basically this thing, pub- public speaking is not just kind of like a speak in front of public and say. No, I wanted to kind of like a make a communicate. When you communicate with the people, you speak very clearly. Okay, as also when you communicate with the people now, you understand them, that they knows what is actually the right or wrong. Does they know that concept really well or not? Okay, and that is really kind of like a something here. I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. Okay, yeah. So, like basically, what I'm trying to tell you, if you wanted to improve your public speaking skills, okay, yeah. So, what kind of like a stuff that you need to understand? First of all, the concept, okay, yeah. If you wanted to tell something about some sort of thing, you have to understand that thing, understand that concept, read that concept, imagine that concept, make it that concept into reality. Okay, one thing. Another thing is that, okay, how do you explain this concept to the people? Okay, to the right way. So this is also kind of like a something is this thing. Another thing is that use your body, entire body. I'm not talking about kind of like just like basically is this thing. If you wanted to public speaking, there is no kind of like opportunity to use your entire body. What do you mean by that? Like most of the time in your public speaking, you are kind of like a sitting. So while you are sitting, you could use your hand. Okay, yeah, you could use your little bit upper body, which kind of like a something like that key. It added emotions. Okay, yeah, and that motion kind of like a something replicate a kind of like a engaging little bit, but yeah, it is engaging. So use that thing. It kind of like a something improve the public speaking thing. Okay, yeah, but let me tell you one thing. These are all those concepts that I told you will not be done or will not be executed the way that the way that you want until you did the practice. Okay, yeah. What do you mean by that? Like example is that public speaking required a courage. Okay, yeah. Courage, yeah, it really required a courage. Like no one could have that kind of like a something courage to say some sort of thing in front of hundreds of people or thousands of people. It really required a courage. Okay, yeah. And most of people don't really have that, and some people have that courage. That's why you are kind of like a something 5% of the people who are teller, not listener. Okay, yeah. Like these are kind of like a different concept. I will mention this thing in another way. But yeah, do you understand na, is this thing that yeah, key like at the beginning you are kind of like a bitterly uncomfortable in front of speak to the public. Okay, yeah. So how do you overcome that stress? Okay, yeah, because like all the eyes are looking at you and you are kind of like a something like that ki, like self-conscious that ki मैं अच्छा तो दिख रहा हूँ ना, like am I looking good, my clothes are looking good, like am I good or not? Okay, yeah. My real advice is that ki be you, don't really judge yourself, just whatever the concept that you have, just be natural and let it flow through. Like yeah, let's just I don't know how do you supposed to say. Okay, it's like that na ki this is the thing that you have to practice. What do you mean by that? You have to face that particular thing. What do you mean? It means that ki whenever you will have opportunity to speak in front of people, you could accept that thing. How? Like how means like that word? Like just an example is that ki every school has its own kind of like a competition regarding about debates. Just apply on that debates. Okay, every school competition has its kind of like a something really something really a student have to allow to kind of like a speak some sort of thing in front of freedom fighter. Okay, or kind of like a giving the speech. It's a really good concept. Okay, yeah, you have to apply yourself and do your thing. Okay, yeah, but obviously these are kind of like a things that actually happen when you are child. What if you are kind of like a something like teenager and these are opportunity are left? What do you have to do? All right, so you are in the college, so there is a festival, so kind of like approach at the anchoring. Okay, yeah, anchoring is a kind of like a something really a field that you have to work on yourself, and it's really good. Okay, yeah, they have a bunch of auditions and this and that. You have to execute, not only execute, you have to showcase your personality to the people, to the college, which is really good. Okay, if it's not going to possible, you are fail or you are rejected, then there are so many things like a fashion. Okay, yeah, like a fashion walk show. Every school festival or every college festival has its fashion walk show. Okay, not fashion like basically you have to wear like this, like I don't know, there are so many concept about the fashion styles and fashion thing. So you have to enroll yourself into that, and just like in front of, instead of telling, you showcase your body or kind of like a something enroll them. It's kind of like something a first steps to kind of like a see the perspective of how it looks from that stage. Okay, yeah. Or else, okay, you are kind of like a way past school and college, then you are in the particular job or something like that, and you miss all those opportunity, but you want to become this thing. So how do you like how do you kind of like push yourself to the in front of people? Well, there is not not so much opportunity left, unless you are kind of like a something in such a profession where public speaking is a kind of like a career. Example is that ki, like 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 anchoring or whatever it is. Okay, or mass media industry. What's a mass media industry? Like reporter, journalism, or something like that. In that particular profession, you do really required to kind of like a speak public speaking thing. Okay, yeah. But still, if you don't really have any of those, like if you don't really have any opportunity, there is a one thing that you could do, is that ki just talk to yourself and imagine there is a public in front of you. Right now I'm doing this thing. What do you mean by that? Okay, so basically this thing, I am at my rooftop, there is a phone in front of me, and this has a microphone. It's kind of like a recording my audio. I'm actually imagine that there is a kind of like hundreds of people in front of me, and I'm just telling them, imagine and telling them, that's it. Okay, yeah. Like I don't really have. I never really went to any kind of like a public speak event and something like that, dude. Then what the fuck you are telling those advice? Like, have you not ever kind of like a something like that achieve that skills, or have you never done that skill in real life? Then why would you give the advice? What the fuck? Like, what makes you that kind of like a person who give the advice about how to do this thing? Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that I haven't really faced any kind of like some public speaking event. That is true in my entire life. That is really true. But is that thing um, whenever I will have that opportunity, I will not be scared. Okay, yeah. Because of that, this thing that you are hearing, this thing speaking to myself and something like that, I'm doing this thing for years of years. I'm doing this thing every day. Okay, yeah, that make me kind of like a confident enough so that I could execute my concept as good as possible as I can. Yeah, at first time I will be fumble, but I have that kind of like something like that confidence. I have that kind of like something like that ki how do I execute my concept to the people. So I think I could pull off. So yeah, I have that thing. Okay, yeah, I never really faced that particular real fact, but when I will have that particular opportunity, I will not disappoint myself, or at least kind of like a something like that okay, I would do a normal kind of like a something speech probably. Yeah, but is this thing, but I don't know, yeah, do you want to trust me or not? It's up to you. Okay, yeah, but like this is the advice, and probably like every people give the kind of like something same advice. Okay, if you wanted to mention this thing, if you wanted to, I don't know. Okay, yeah, it's up to you. Okay, like basically you are still here and you are still listening this thing. Instead of listening me, you have to do this thing by yourself. Like I ask this question to you now. Okay, just like you have a microphone app or you have this recorder app, just play that app. Okay, record yourself, ask this question that key, what kind of like a something really that key advice, or what kind of what steps that I could take to improve my public speaking skills. Okay, yeah, And whatever the answer that you come up with, that is the initial steps. That is good. Yeah, at first time it kind of like a bit awkward to talk to yourself, but yeah, soon after it kind of like something very used to, and then it will be really good. So yeah, why not? All right, next question.